Hello and welcome. My name is Shasta Roberts, and welcome to my book club. Every week, where we read my book, Stronger Than Your Excuses. Today, we are finishing up part 2, which are the 6 reasons I decided to leave my marriage. And we are reading reason number 6, I ache for love. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I've crossed over into the next decade. Although I'm in my 30s, I have 3 kids and have been married for 10 years, I am still young. I still have so much life ahead of me. I married at 21, had my first baby at 23, and finished having kids at 27. A lot happened in my 20s. Besides getting married and having kids, we moved to Idaho, then later moved to Washington. We bought a house and we got out of financial trouble. We traveled internationally and lots of places in the States. My 20s were pretty dang eventful. The day I turned 30, though, something changed. Call it a midlife crisis, but some thoughts came to mind I haven't reflected on before. I realized I didn't know who I was or who I wanted to be. 30 meant I had been out of school for 10 years, and I thought by now I should know what I wanted my life to look like. I knew I wanted to be a present, attentive mom, and I've always wanted to be someone who can bring happiness on a dark day. I did not know what my true purpose and calling was going to be. I've always known I wasn't meant for retail or a desk job at a big firm. I want more, and I think I was made to contribute more. I just haven't found out how I'm supposed to offer more. I need to figure out where my niche is in life. What makes me happy on a day-to-day basis? Work is hard, and I won't get away from that. But what can I accomplish where I'm proud of the work I am doing? Where the task is worth the exhaustion? I believe to be able to accept the good, you have to see past the ruts in your life. Ruts are the habits or patterns of behavior that have become unproductive, but are hard to change. My biggest ruts are debt, my weight, self-love, and my marriage. I fixed the weight and self-love, and I'm working toward the debt issue. My goal is to be debt-free. We don't have a lot of debt to begin with, but enough. Our house, some student loans, 1 car, and a credit card. Last year, we paid over $10,000 in just interest. I'm tired of giving away my money to invest into interest. My debt will not be paid off instantly, but I'm moving forward on paying it off. This leaves my marriage still being a crater in my life. I've stayed because of my excuses, but I am leaving because of my reasons. There is good in my marriage, but the negativity outweighs it 10 to 1. Our marriage is not split 50-50, or even anywhere close to that. We are more like a 90-10. Along with me taking care of most of the work, I am then criticized each day for how I'm not perfect. He tells me he doesn't have time for me or the kids. Instead of spending time with us, he feels he deserves to have his own time every day when he gets home from work. I am unable to love someone who does not show me love in return anymore. I'm unable to carry my marriage and our life together all on my own. I'm not sure if I even really, truly, deeply, madly loved him, or if he just fit all the important criteria of what I thought I wanted. But now I am rewriting my future, and I am too young to not be in love. 30 has been a big turning point for me on so many aspects of my life. I'm not young, but my life is not even half over. Comparatively, I think I'm doing pretty good. This is the time, though, here and now, at this age, to make a change. I don't want to get to 40 and still be in the same spot and all my same ruts. Working through this all has already brought me to 32. Change takes time, and I'm not going to sit idle. I have more to give, and I want to receive more in return. Some of the people that helped me realize this and don't even know it are Rachel and Dave Hollis. I started listening to their Rise Together podcast to try to help my marriage. In their podcast, they like to talk about making out with each other quite a bit. Their podcast became hard to listen to because the simple act of a good makeout was missing from my marriage. Rachel and Dave are able to laugh together, and it seems like they truly love each other. They put their relationship before their kids, which I am seeing is a trend of great couples. When a relationship thrives, so do the kids affected by it. Rachel and Dave's Rise Together podcast lends quite a bit of knowledge on how to make a great marriage work. But when I listen to it, all I feel is the emptiness of what is missing in my marriage. Not all marriages need to be the same, but what is missing in mine is actually what I am craving. My relationship was not thriving, and my kids did not thrive when they were in the middle of our arguments. My kids make it known they can hear us. You think we don't hear you, Mom, when you are downstairs, but we do. We hear you fighting. If this doesn't crush your soul, I don't know what else will. Even my 4-year-old knows we fight. At least half of our fights, they are in the room, and you can see them shrivel into themselves. All of them will start to stare off into space and be quiet. They don't want to get in the middle, and they want us to forget they are even there. They feel uncomfortable and don't want to be there either. This is not what I want my kids' childhood to look like. I do not want them to learn a fighting marriage is how it is supposed to be. I do not want them to think it is okay to not like your spouse. Yes, marriage is hard work, but it should be more beautiful than hard most days. You should want to embrace each other instead of counting down to having time apart. You should want to seize the day together. Your partner should be your best friend and your main confidant. My problem is, I cannot remember a time when I had any of that in my marriage. We were heading toward a split for a long time. I could not live through my excuses forever. I am too young and strong-willed. I was bound to see the light eventually. I want to live the rest of my life in a marriage I cherish. I want to long for my partner and yearn to be together. I may not be as young as I was when I first married, but I'm still young enough to start over. I'm in the prime of my life. I already have kids. I'm established. I know the type of person I want to be. I have lived and experienced life. I am more prepared now for the rest of my life than I ever was in my 20s. I feel like this happens to everyone at some point in their life. If it didn't, there wouldn't be the term midlife crisis. It isn't just a phase, but it actually has its own definition. Midlife crisis, per Google Dictionary, is an emotional crisis of identity and self-confidence that occur in early middle age. Signs of a midlife crisis can be buying a sports car, drastic changes in habits, and feeling tied down with no chance for a change. I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis at 30. I've had a transition of identity and self-confidence. I'm just not middle-aged. That's the big kicker, though. I'm not middle-aged. I'm still young and have finally woke up and I'm ready to live my life. I've not been living it a fully fulfilled life. I'm done sitting foolishly around waiting for life to happen to me, and I'm gonna make it happen for me. I'm a new person. I'm not the person I was 10 years ago, let alone the person I was 2 years ago. Something has changed inside me. Honestly, I'm so happy it did. I don't live in the 50s or 60s where you get what you get and you live with it. I have a choice. I live in a time where I get to choose my life now more than ever. Your age or sex doesn't matter anymore. No one can live your life but you. No one can make your decisions but you. Yes, people can influence you, but you are the only one who can make the decision. You are not carried through life. You walk through it down a path you choose. Someone might have pulled you toward it, but nonetheless, you walk it. No one is going to pull me down a path I don't want anymore. If it was not where I wanted to be, I should have stopped a long time ago. Maybe things would be different if I tried harder a couple years ago. Maybe we could have patched things up and worked on our marriage. Once you fall out of love, it is so hard to fall back in love with that same person. I wish I would have taken note of our Australia trip and jumped on fixing our relationship then. Back when I still loved him and would do anything to be happy with him. At some point, there's no turning back. You can veer onto another path, but you cannot go back to any point on the current path. Although there is no going back, I actually wouldn't want it anyway. I can't say that my last 10 years were horrible. I've learned and lived a lot. But now I'm ready to seize my life by the reins and start running. I'm not fully sure what direction, but I want a different one. I'm not ready to jump into another relationship, but I want to find love. I have 60 plus years hopefully left in my life. If I'm going to make a change, it is going to be now. This is the perfect time in my life. I'm not old enough to just stick it out, let alone should anyone at any age stick it out when they're unhappy. I now want to live every waking moment to the fullest and every day as if it were my last. I know how short life can be. I know there is never a guarantee I will be here tomorrow. I am thankful for every day I am on this earth. No more will it be while I'm half awake. I have awoken fully and I don't intend to back down. I intend to surround myself with only things that fill my life even more than I can myself. If you are not committed to me, I cannot be committed to you in any way. No more will my time be wasted. I already live the lifestyle that if you do not make time for me, I will not make time for you. Time is an unvalued commodity when it should be the highest value. If I make time for you, you mean more to me than you probably know. I've never made time for my marriage. I've never intentionally scheduled time to connect with my husband. Maybe that is one of the downfalls of our marriage. Maybe neither of us held it to that high of esteem to make time for it. There are a lot of should've, could've, would've, but I've moved all past that, and I'm ready to prioritize myself. I love me more than anyone. Yes, even more than my kids. If I don't put myself first, I will put myself last. Putting myself last for so many years might have gotten me here. There are too many factors to count. But what I do know is I'm ready to love and be loved in return. I'm too young to live the same monotone life I have been living. I'm ready to thrive. I've worked through all the rest of the items on my list, and this is one of my last ones. I'm too young to feel this way. I will not live the same day repeatedly and call it a life. Most of the time, when you leave someone, you say you know what you say now you know what you don't want. But actually, I now know what I want. I now know what I cannot live without. I now know what I need to be happy. I want a best friend. I want someone I can count on. I want someone who gives me butterflies. I want someone who cannot be replaced. I want someone who wants to participate in life with me. And above all, I want to be in love. All right. That is the end of part 2 of the book. Part 3 is what happens when I asked for a divorce. And you guys get to hear all about those details. So that will be next week. We'll be into part 3. I can't wait to see you guys then. Make sure that you leave me a comment on this video. I would love to hear what you think. I do read all of them, and give me a thumbs up if you like it. Also, subscribe to the channel, and if you hit that notification bell, it'll actually notify you when I have posted a new chapter every single week. So I will see you guys next week for the part 3 and the next chapter of the book. Bye.